Hi, kia ora. There's a few things that I think is important to share with you at this time. And I've been giving a lot of thought to this and thinking about it. There's, as you know, all the reports in the world with different countries regarding this coronavirus. And what's happening is we're seeing, a lot of mass effect on everyone in one form or another. So whichever country you're in, whatever is happening to you right now, it's changing. It's constantly changing. Every day it's all changing. One of the things I wanted to do was reassure you that this change is okay. It might not seem like it, but I want to just remind you of a few things. Some of the things that are happening are kind of destined to happen. It started for me seeing what's happening now many, many years ago. I think it was back in 2010 or thereabouts, 2012. I've had other experiences of seeing this, but in detail, I saw what is happening now as happening to humanity. And at the time when I saw it, because I often get visions, I see volcanoes, I see tsunamis, I'm just aware of it. So when I see these things, I always ride it through, and I think that's why I see them. When I say see, I'm talking about my intuitive abilities, which we all have. It's just whether or not we've got them switched on and open, which mine are, as I work in that field specifically to help empower other people to do the same. And what I saw was this coronavirus. I didn't know it was called a coronavirus, that's fact. But what I did know was what is happening and what is about to happen. So sometimes it's good to know what is going to happen and see it so that we see it from a different perspective, so we have a choice. It's when we don't have choice that it becomes scary or we feel like we've got no control over it, but we have, and there's some really positive benefits to all of this. This was, first of all, destined to happen. It is in our asking, it is in higher consciousness that we are asking for it. So let's be clear about that. We're not saying, oh, we want people to die, we want bad things to happen, we want shortages of this or problems with that. That's not what we're saying, but what we're saying is on some level, this is what we are calling to ourselves. We're asking for higher awareness. Now, as I've probably already mentioned previously, each and every one of us have been going through a period of growth and a period of change. Now, whether you're consciously aware of what those changes are, those changes are happening, they're real. And it's a bit like what's happening with this virus. It is real, but it's real for different people in different ways. So your experience is going to be very different from somebody else's. So when I saw all of this predicted that it was going to happen, that it was going to come, I questioned it. I asked what was the meaning behind it. And what basically I got is, in order for us to become more aware of who we are and to move into these higher dimensions, as I call it, or have more awareness, we needed to shift some of the stagnant energy, so to speak, that were currently in place. And as I've said before, in order to have change, things have to happen. So although we wouldn't choose necessarily for it to happen in this way, if it's for the good of all in the grander scheme of things, and more importantly for the good of our own raising of consciousness, then that's the way that it will happen. It's already pre-planned, so to speak. And in the fact that I knew about it many, many years ago, long beforehand, lets you know that it was destined to happen. It's what I call, when we're not consciously choosing it, but it's in our consciousness as a collective, or sometimes it could be classified as being on our soul path. So certain things, like for example, if we take an example of an individual soul path, it would be that I chose to be born as a female at that precise time in the UK. And those are things that I can't change. My soul had already set that in place, so to speak. And then other factors like life factors that have happened. Now, we have the free will choice, of course. The free will choice comes in that I could, if I wanted to, change my sex. So that's where free will comes in. So I just want to distinguish that, because to make it clear about what I'm talking about. So this is something that is beyond our level of conscious thinking. As I said, we probably wouldn't ask for it. So what we've got to do is embrace it. We've got to trust. We've got to know that what is happening is for our higher good, even if we can't see or know what it is. And once we kind of accept that, then we can move into a place of allowing whatever those changes will bring. Now, I think what it's going to bring is, what I was seeing is that humanity is going to change the way it's been operating. In other words, where there's a lot of conflict and self, from the point of view of it's mine and I'm having it. And, you know, people talk about, you know, those that control. Well, that's given our power away in the sense of believing that someone is controlling us. In fact, we are controlling ourselves, and everything that we emit is because on some level we're creating it or we're thinking about it. So that's part of what is going to change. Now, it doesn't mean that we always know what those changes are going to be, but if we can just kind of take on board that it's more about individualizing from a point of, there is me in this greater awareness, in this greater consciousness, in this global thing that's happening. So there, you'll notice, and it's always the case when there are sort of situations like this where, you know, we have to come together. So we're having to come together, but at the same time isolating. Well, we've been asking for that isolation so we can know ourselves. So use this time to know yourself. Use this time to be isolated and to, you know, sit and meditate if you want to meditate. But, you know, just be aware of yourself. Who am I? Ask that question. You know, who am I? What am I here? What is going on? How do I feel this way? Why do I like it? Do I not like it? So it's question. Lots of self-reflective, getting to know you. The fact this isolation is happening is for a very good reason, so you can get to know yourself. That's what you've been asking for, haven't you? I think so. And if you're not one of those people that have consciously been asking, as I said, doesn't matter. It's happening on an inner level, and that inner you is wanting you to connect more, to be more aware, and to kind of like really know yourself from a different perspective. And the best way to do it, as I always say, is talk to yourself. Who am I? What do I like? Do I like this? Has that changed? Where did that belief come from? Is it me? Who's thinking that? What's going on with me? So it's all about you. Once you find you, you then find that you connect with more of yourself. So you become more aware of what you are not. And then that brings in the global connection, or the cosmic collection, or the, what do we call it? The kind of like more collective generally, whether that brings in the higher collective or people as a group, you know, and we're becoming more aware of ourselves and then our relation to that group and how we act and how we react to situations. And there's a great movement of awareness which is waking us up, that is making us more loving, more able to see what is actually happening. And then from that comes those choices that we make. I'm choosing to choose love. I'm choosing, you know, love over fear. I'm not reacting to the events. I'm just asking myself, does this sit with me? Do I feel good about this? Do I like this? What can I do? What can I release? How can I release it? You know, what do I need to be more aware of? What is my reality for me right now? Do I love it? If I don't, what do I need to let go of? So it's a really good, what I call introspective time that's, you know, forcing us on the outside to go inwards and really know more about who we are. When we find out who we are, as I said, it explodes and it becomes an outer. And where do I fit into all of this and all the people around me, and how can I be more of service, and you know, how can we come together to create what we want? And this is what is happening. This is ascension. This is the new paradigm. We're coming together. We will do when we come out of this isolation. But even if we're not physically out of the isolation, we're coming out of it because we're moving through our own fears that have been prevalent. They've been there since, you know, humanity began for one reason or another. And now we're beginning to look at things in a different way, but we're beginning to get more options and more awareness, as I said, and it will show itself in various ways. But what's really, really important is that you are finding comfortability with you. So it's a good opportunity to release anything, to question anything that isn't. I'll be putting up more videos how to let go. I already have, about it's okay to feel those feelings. That's really important at this time. This is something that we've all been working on now, as I say, for many years, on and off, whether consciously or unconsciously, to create this new environment that we're living in. And this is just the precursor to what's setting us up to what is coming for us, what we're creating, our heaven on earth, so to speak. So remember, this is all about talking to yourself, finding that time to be with yourself, not panicking, not fearing, everything's okay. You know, when you're trusting that divine alignment, you know that you're going to be okay. You know that you're going to be looked after. Yes, there are some people that won't be aware of this. And, you know, that's okay. That's their part in all of this. And yes, we can focus on, as I like to say, the negative or the positive. And which one are you going to choose? You're going to focus on yourself and how you're feeling and what's positive for you, so that you can then be of more service to others, that you can help others in whatever way that's going to transpire. Maybe it's, you know, through acts of kindness. Maybe it's thinking about people that can't get the supplies or whatever it is that they're going to need as the days unfold. So you can do those things, but not at the detriment of yourself, because it feels right, because you're in tune with you, and because you know you're safe and you know everything's okay. So yeah, these are really interesting, changing times. I'm thinking of you all, and I just want to say so much love. So much love. I'm Jessica Woods.